Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B ward, this is Mortem. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD. How you doing?
I'm good. It's Memorial Day.
It is. As the recording of this episode, it is Memorial Day.
And I remembered Memorial Day.
And you remembered it?
I haven't smoked pot in like 2 weeks. I think that's why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty soon Dennis won't be on any featured lists.
Nah, he'll still be there.
As of today, we're going to do our top 5 doctors in this episode.
Dr. Dennis is on my list, though.
Well, I will be making a special announcement after this list is read of the retiring of a character.
Oh, really?
That gets brought up far too often on this podcast. Wow. We are doing top 5 doctors. I'll keep you in suspense as to who you might know who I'm talking about. But
yeah, the suspense is killing me at this point.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
So we played with MDC. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good show.
We came out. You enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
pretty sweet. Millions of dead cops.
I like watching people in their 30s try to mosh and then get stopped by security.
Yeah.
It's funny to me.
When they've been warned, seriously.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking hilarious. Like, you're 36 years old. Don't your hips hurt?
Yeah, I really, these days, after playing bands for years and going to hundreds of concerts, I feel too old. Like, I'd rather just stand there.
Yeah, drink a beer.
Only Conflict is the only one where I'm like right there at the front row. Yeah. Other than that, I'm just kind of...
Yeah. If I went to go see Guar, I'd probably be in the front row still just to, get sprayed with all the shit.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm good on the balcony with a drink in my hand.
Yeah. Far away from the action.
Yeah, I went and saw Skinny Puppy last year, and they're like one of my favorite bands, one of the most influential bands in my music. And I actually sat down for the entire concert.
Wow, that's strange.
Yeah, and enjoyed
your back.
Yeah. It was still like, oh, I can sit and enjoy music? Wow.
All right, well, nice to see you again.
You too.
Now, it's time for... Yes.
All right.
So, I'll start us off this week.
Okay.
You remember that movie Circle I told you to watch on Netflix?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's awesome, huh?
Yeah.
The creators of Circle. It's on Netflix if you guys want to check it out. I don't think we talked about it on the show. I think we just talked about it off the air. But
I might have mentioned it at one point.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's how you make a low-budget movie. Yeah. So check it out on Netflix if you haven't yet.
Very good psychological stuff done on a very small budget.
Yeah. So the creators of Circle have teamed up with LRM to bring a new anthology horror series called Dark Web.
Okay.
It will explore the terrifying and seedy side of the internet. So it's about the dark web. And
so it's 4chan the movie?
Yeah, basically they're doing like... it's going to be different stories, and it's going to go infinity if there's a demand for it. Okay. It's going to be on the internet.
You remember that movie from the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, Fear.net?
Yeah, it was terrible.
I hope it's not
Unfriended. Yeah. So it's going to explore the terrifying side of the internet. They're actually taking submissions from independent writers for the content to be produced. So I'm going to send something in. You should too.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell our buddy Kerry. He has that one digital story.
Yeah.
We should tell him to submit that.
Demon story. I think that's my favorite of his.
Yeah, he should submit that in. We'll get on that telling him. But submission deadline is June 13th. In addition to making the movie, this is something that's kind of cool. They are making a documentary about them making the movie from concept to completion and screening. So from when they started talking about even doing this to when they're reaching out submissions, that kind of thing, reading people's things, to put it in production, they're making a documentary simultaneously with the movie to explain how independent movie making goes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it. Circle is awesome. If it's half as good as Circle, I'm in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Imagine what they could do with a budget.
yeah. If they have a budget, but if they're taking writer submissions, they probably don't have a budget too high.
Yeah, possibly, or they're just looking for something new and fresh. Because
Yeah,
God
that's
knows
true.
there's not a lot of that out there.
For sure. What you got this week?
Speaking of new and fresh, they're rebooting the Halloween franchise for next year.
Wow, that is new and fresh.
John
Reboots.
Carpenter is involved, though.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah,
this.
he's producing, he's scoring, and they actually just found a director, and it's Mike Flanagan who did that movie Hush about the deaf girl.
Yeah, and he did one more too that I can't remember. It was one of my reviews. Other than Hush, he did something before that.
He was involved in Oculus.
Oculus, that's what it was. Yeah, he did Oculus too.
He's a good director.
Yeah.
And if he has a good script, I think he'll make a good movie. And the fact that John Carpenter's back on board, even just as a producer, is a good sign.
Yeah, I don't have that high hopes. I mean, I would like to, but that is one of the franchises I will go on record as saying I think Michael Myers is quite overrated.
Oh, yeah. He was the first, and that's where he kind of gets his, his credit that he was the first, silent masked slasher.
Yeah, I have low hopes going into it. I do like Halloween 1 and 2 a lot. Actually, Rob Zombie's Halloween, not so much.
It would have been better if it was just not a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I like 1, 2, and 6 the best.
Yeah, 6 is good.
Yeah, and I'd be more interested in if you said Doug Bradley's going to come back and Clive Barker for some Hellraiser shit. That would be more, I'd be salivating.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is just interesting.
Yeah, it is. We'll see. It could be good, could be bad. We will watch it, of course, as gluttons for punishment as we are. Speaking of sequels, you got anything else about that?
No.
Okay. Well, speaking of sequels, Eli Roth is developing a sequel to The Green Inferno.
Really?
What do you feel about The Green Inferno?
I like Cannibal Holocaust better.
Oh no, they've got the munchies.
Big old CG ants.
Yeah, I liked it. I know a lot of people hate it. Yeah. I liked it. It was entertaining.
Yeah,
it
was what it was. It was a movie as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be Cannibal Holocaust, but I liked it. I'd give it, if I was going to rate it, I'd give it like a solid 7.
Yeah.
The first one. Well, this one's going to be called Beyond the Green Inferno. It's going to be directed by his frequent collaborator, Nicolas Lopez. You know how he makes all his movies in Argentina and shit for the budget? He's a guy that works with him a lot. So
that guy did a vampire movie, an Argentinian vampire movie that was really good. Can't remember what it's called, but I remember really liking the movie, and Eli Roth produced it.
Oh, I heard of Aftershock. I watched that. That was a earthquake one. Did you see that?
No.
It was all right. I like what's it called? Knock Knock. Yeah. I liked that a lot. Yeah. A lot of people shit on it, but I really thought it was cool.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. Shower threesomes. That's
our
rating system. No.
Can't go wrong with shower threesomes. I guess you could probably go very wrong with shower threesomes.
Well, prison.
Yeah.
Prison shower threesomes.
Rating system.
So at the ending of the first movie, there was sort of a cliffhanger, but it was kind of stupid.
Uh-huh.
At the very end, I'm not going to spoil it if you guys haven't seen Green Inferno, but so it could be a continuation of that. I don't think that story needs to be wrapped up. I think it would be better if they there's no information, so who knows which way they're going.
Yeah.
The other option they'd have is if it's just another group goes there. Right. And that's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
Another group goes there. You don't need to follow those characters anymore.
Yeah, and maybe they find little bits and pieces of the previous characters.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about Beyond the Green Inferno or Green Inferno 2, so.
Wasn't Beyond the Green Door a 70s porno movie? Maybe it's going to be cannibal porn.
Yeah. Beyond the Black Rainbow.
So, got some horror video game news. Something that I actually just found, and it looks really fucking awesome. The crowdfunding just finished on a game called Night Terrors. And it is a augmented reality game based on your phone. You get the phone app, and you use your phone to go around your house and find the ghosts using the camera.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And so
like virtual reality, basically.
Yeah. I keep bringing up that game Fatal Frame, where you can't see the ghosts normally, but you see them through this like haunted camera.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
It looks a lot like that. There's a great trailer on Bloody Disgusting for it that makes it look super creepy. But you also, it's more than just your camera. When you sign up for the game, which should be coming out very soon, though no date is set, it also interacts with your text and with other apps on your phone, so you get texts from ghosts and like warnings that things are happening.
That's cool.
So yeah, I love little augmented reality games like that. I remember
it's like a Snapchat filter.
Yeah, it's like Snapchat filter from hell. When I got the very first Android when it came out, and I had this game that was made for runners, and it used your GPS, and while you were running around town, there would be zombies chasing you. And it would direct you to different places to avoid the zombies and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And that's a super, that's like the Pac-Man version of this.
Yeah.
And this looks like it's going to be pretty neat. So if you go to Bloody Disgusting, the preview for it is on the main page right now.
What's it called again?
It's called Night Terrors.
Night Terrors, yeah.
I'll see if we can post it on our page too.
Yeah, we'll share it on the Postmortem page, so make it easier for you guys to get to. Well, I got one more thing. I have a little picture, which is not too good for podcasting, to be showing pictures to you. But I don't really give a shit because I want you to see the picture anyway. Yeah. So, coming 2017, Ridley Scott will be bringing us a sequel to Prometheus, which was a prequel to Alien. So some time in between Prometheus and Alien. It's supposed to be closer to Alien. Mm-hmm. And they just released the first production still, which is what you're looking at right now.
Okay.
They're going back to the Geiger vibe. That's what they said.
Nice.
This kind of looks more like a combination of Event Horizon and Alien.
It looks like Blade Runner.
Yeah, kind of like that. But it's Ridley Scott, so of course, he's kind of got that vibe. So I'm looking forward to it. I liked Prometheus. Yeah, it was too long. They should have cut it down a little bit because it's like 2.5 hours or some shit. And
there was this fan edit called Derelict where they took Prometheus and Alien and spliced them into one long film that jumped back and forth in time, and they took all the retarded shit out of Prometheus, and it made the movie a million times better just by removing the little stupid nuances, like the dude hooking up with the captain for no reason.
It was unnecessarily long. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to star Michael Fassbender, Catherine Waterston, and Danny McBride.
Really?
Danny McBride in an Alien movie.
Wow.
So they can go one of two ways in this. I'd like to see Danny McBride do what fucking Dewey Cox did. You know how he's in some serious movies. Yeah. We need to talk about Kevin. He's the dad. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that. No.
You need to see. We need to talk about Kevin. There's a reason why. Yeah. We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah, you mentioned that a couple times. I'm interested.
You got to check it out. It's on Netflix, I think.
Yeah,
still. So.
I think I would like to see Danny McBride play someone who goes psycho. I bet he would do that really well. Yeah, because he's kind of got those eyes, Yeah.
With Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
He's my bitch. So, I love Alien. In my opinion, it might be the most tense movie experience I ever had, because I watched that as a little kid with all the lights off and just glued in. And the suspense of that alien, when it's going to come and when she's going through those hallways. It's very fucking tense.
I literally, the first time I saw it, I was maybe 7 or 8. Yeah. Like, ripped a hole in the couch because I was playing it so much. Yeah. And not since probably Alien have I ever seen a movie that was that intense, except for the movie that I'm reviewing today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's that good, huh? You got a good movie?
I got a really good movie.
All right. Well, let's see if in 2017 the saying is still true. In space, no one can hear you scream.
Okay.
That's the tagline on the poster.
That is, yeah.
Okay, well, awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
In space, no one can hear your awkward silences.
1 out of 10 awkward silences.
Awkward shower silences.
So we'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors with the good movie and the bad movie.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Postmortem Podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Postmortem Podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. It doesn't cost you any money. We get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're going to do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many, and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
It's time for the good movie.
That's the sound. You know what that means. The good and the bad.
That's right. I hear you've got a real bad movie.
I got a bad fucking movie.
Right, I got a real good movie, so how do you want to do this?
Well, I mean, if you got a real good movie, I think that you should go second.
Okay.
Okay. Let's end on a high note.
Okay, cool.
I have a real good movie too, actually, but I know you're pretty high on your movie. You've mentioned it a couple times to me that you got a good one.
Yeah.
So.
All right, far away.
So, 2015, Old 37. You heard of this?
No.
IMDb says directed by Alan Smithy. Do you know what Alan Smithy
It
is?
means the director doesn't want to take claim for it.
That means the director has removed his name from the project because he's ashamed. So it's directed by Alan Smithy.
So we have to find that director and make him walk naked through the city while saying shame,
Shame. Shame. It must be a horrendous pile of shit then, right? If it's directed by an Alan Smithy.
That's what I'm thinking.
If I would have done my research prior to watching the movie instead of after to find out who the director was, maybe I wouldn't have watched it.
Oh, wow.
You know, I didn't know till afterwards. I'm like, directed by Alan Smithy. I'm like, that sounds pretty familiar, Alan Smithy. And then I clicked on him, like, who, what has he done? Oh, yeah, that's the fucking pile of shit name.
It's like the K. Fabian.
So, a while back, I had given a movie with Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley. Mm-hmm. And they had not... they promoted them as the stars, and they were not really the stars. Well, they are the stars of this movie.
Okay.
That movie was Almost Mercy. They were not the stars. It was my good movie of the week. They are the stars in this one, and it's my bad movie of the week. And I love both Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley. Two of the icons of horror. And the film had an interesting concept. It's about two guys that ride around in an ambulance responding to 911 calls before the real ambulance can arrive.
Okay.
So they have an old-ass ambulance. They dress up like paramedics and respond to these calls, and then they either kill or abduct and torture the people that they're responding to.
Okay, and this is Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley.
Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley, yeah.
Okay.
The only thing worse than the visual effects in this movie is the acting. Not by them, but everyone else.
Okay.
God damn it. Some stupid bitch tries to stand on top of two cars while they're driving, like legs split on top of the roof while the cars are driving, like Jackass or something, and falls off and dies.
Duh.
And then there's this scene where Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley's dad, like, I guess this is a family thing, like, similar to Texas Chainsaw or something, where they've been doing it for years. There's a scene where they're in the back of the car and the dad goes with, responds like he's a paramedic, and then just starts fingering some girl's leg wound. And licking his fingers and fingering her leg wound.
Wow.
That's probably the best part of the movie. Yeah. Even the leg wound looks like they took hamburger and put it on top of her leg.
Oh, God.
It's pretty terrible.
Wow.
Everyone's responses are so fucking fake to everything. Oh, no, please, don't. It's really bad. I'm convinced that everyone in this movie, other than Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley, has never acted in another movie prior to this, maybe. Yeah. That would be one explanation.
Do they all have the same last name?
No. No, it's not that effect. Kane has this weird respirator thing, almost like he's like a Bane ripoff.
Okay.
He's got a weird like respirator mask on the whole time. Bill Moseley clearly did not give a fuck. Fuck you, pay me. Right. The fuck you, pay me effect, And Bill Moseley's a great actor, but you could tell, even there must have been problems on set with this movie. For the director to remove himself, and these guys that are horror icons clearly phoning it in because the movie's so bad and they're aware that it's bad. There's nothing worse than being involved with something and it sucks, but you're still paid and you got to be there. It's like if you go work a bad show.
Yeah,
it's
like you go work for Mr. California or something.
but you know better than to do that. So,
I bet our rating system is ambivalent Bill Moseley's.
Ambivalent Bill Moseley's. So, if he could have used a pseudonym like the director, I bet Bill Moseley would have, but you would have so clearly know that it was him. So
Will Hoseley.
Will Hoseley. We're going to rate our movies in Will Hoseley's.
Done.
So, IMDb gives it 4.1. I wish I had more hands so I could give those titties 4 thumbs down.
Yes.
0.5.
0.5. Wow.
0.5. I'll give it a 0.5 just for Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder's involvement. And it was kind of entertaining to have them involved. And it's like watching the torture of an actor on film. And not like the actors being tortured, you know, like Saw style, but the actors actually being tortured, being involved with this pile of shit.
Right.
So that's probably the most entertaining part about this movie.
Wow.
So
their misery.
My hat's off to you, Alan Smithy.
Good work, bro.
All right, what you got this week for a bad movie?
So my bad movie is a 2015 horror film that tries to mix psychological horror with a home invasion / prisoner in your own home angle. Directed by Mike Teston in his feature film debut, and it's called Dementia.
Actually, I just added this to my queue. I saw it pop up. It's new, right?
Yeah.
It just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, it stars Gene Jones, who's a great character actor. He was the father in the movie The Sacrament, the cult leader, who's basically a Jim Jones figure.
Oh, yeah. He did great. Yeah, I loved
and he's good in this movie, despite the fact that the writing and directing is utter shit.
Yeah.
The movie tells the story of George, who's an elderly Vietnam War veteran, who, after suffering a stroke, begins to show signs of dementia. So his family hires a live-in nurse to take care of him, and she begins to exhibit signs of her own psychosis, and she traps the old man in the house and torments him.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good plot idea. In theory, I mean, being trapped in your house with a psycho and having no one believe you because you suffer from dementia and they think you're making it up, like that's some good psychological horror on paper. Unfortunately, the movie fell flat due to bad writing and even worse pacing. Gene Jones did his best with what he was given, and the actress who played his granddaughter also gave a decent performance. All of the characters were pretty charismatic, all of the actors were, so that kind of made up for it, and the only unlikable person in the movie was the actual bad guy. So
okay, that's good, though. Yeah, that's a good setup.
These are all good things. Problem is, you barely get a glimpse of what George was like before his dementia, and you never see him interact with his family before it sets in. So there's no way to identify with how he was before.
Yeah.
And they don't really... They kind of try to later on explain the strained relationship between him and his son, but it's another case of, show don't tell falling flat.
Yeah.
And the nurse immediately starts showing signs that she's a psycho as soon as she's left alone with George. There's no build-up. There's no questioning. There's no, is this happening in his head? It's just, boom, let's start injecting him with drugs. And
one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah, exactly. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. If you're going to write a movie about mental illness, make sure that you understand mental illness. This movie basically broke dementia down to its basic parts, memory lapses and time loss, and then it dealt very little with the actual horror that someone deals with when their reality stops making sense.
Yeah, that's more horrific than any kind of killer, and for you just to be so confused, you know what's going on. If you're around old people, with my job, I'm around
me too.
Old people sometimes that are like that, and you feel bad for them, because they don't know, know any better.
And in this movie, it was like he'd be talking to his granddaughter, he'd leave the room, he'd come back, and he'd be like, "Who are you?" And she'd be like, "I'm your granddaughter. It's just your pesky dementia, Grandpa." And he'd be like, "Oh, okay," and then go on with his life. In an age where the Diagnostic Statistical Manual can be bought in a store, or you can go on Wikipedia.
Is that like how to fix your car? Or?
It's the list of symptoms for psychological problems.
No oil change?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It depends on what kind of psychologist you are. Or if you're a Scientologist, I guess.
Oil checking if you're a bad psychologist.
Yeah, exactly. Thumbs in the butt. The Wikipedia article on dementia showed a deeper understanding of dementia than this movie did.
Yeah.
And maybe this is because I'm a psychology student that this sticks in my craw so much.
Yeah.
But it bugs me.
It does. I know it bugs you.
If you're going to call your movie Dementia, fucking understand dementia.
Know what dementia is, at least. Yeah, fuck.
In terms of production, this movie may as well have been a daytime soap opera. It was visually boring. Sound design was generic. There were no technical elements.
No effects.
It was all just framed shots. It looked like a soap opera.
No kind of pullaways or anything.
Nothing to create a mood. Nothing to create any sense of foreboding or dread. Nothing. It was just, we're making a movie.
Is it gory at all?
No, not really. It's more like she's trying to psychologically torture him,
and sometimes that could be better.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. It's just bad writing, falls flat every single time.
Well, thank you for saving me, because like I said, I put that on my queue, and I was actually thinking, I almost watched it today before I started watching that Slender Man documentary I was telling you about.
Yeah, it plays like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
That's how it plays. We've kind of discussed this. It's possible to do movies like this and really handle it with sensitivity and still make it a good horror movie.
Yeah.
Taking of Deborah Logan is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
They handled specifically dementia with sensitivity and still tied in the demonic possession angle. And it worked. This one does not. So I'm going to give it 1 point for being a good idea on paper, 1 point for decent acting despite a bad script, 2 points for the only really unlikable character being the actual bad guy, 1 point for not being found footage, 1 point because it's the director's first effort and I'm generous towards that, 1 point off for shitty pacing, 1 point off for not understanding the illness that's in the movie's title, and 1 point off for shitty production for 3 out of 10.
Will Hoseley.
Ambivalent Will Hoseley.
Ambivalent Will Hosleys. William Hoseley.
That's fair.
All right, well.
3 out of 10 for that.
I described, we went to Sue's birthday party like last week, and I told you I had a movie that was so good that I watched it despite only finding it in Spanish with English subtitles, even though it is an English language movie.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what movie you're talking about.
That's weird, right? To watch a movie dubbed in another language with your own language subtitles when the characters are clearly speaking English.
Wow.
It's the Funaki effect.
Yeah, for real.
So after I watched it, after I told you that, I actually did track down an actual English version of it.
Okay.
And I watched like 5 minutes of it to make sure it was an English language version. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one I prefer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this movie is called Perdida Durango. That's the Spanish one.
Okay.
AKA the Americanized title is Dance with the Devil. So 1997, directed by Alex de la Iglesia, based on the novel by Barry Gifford.
I think I've seen this movie.
Stars Rosie Perez.
No, I have not seen this movie.
Who is in White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
And she's the cop in Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Who I've always had the hots for.
Yeah. Did she age well?
Yes.
Nice.
This was 1997, so she was in her prime.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So she still looks good, though, today, because I looked up her IMDb, and she still looks pretty sweet. So, Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men, the killer in No Country for Old Men. He's great. Guy. I think this might be his first role.
Okay.
So, and he kills it. And James Gandolfini from The Sopranos.
Wow.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Featuring the one and only Screamin' Jay Hawkins, who was the guy who wrote the classic song "I Put a Spell on You."
Yeah. He was like the godfather of shock rock. He was doing coffins and spitting fire before Alice Cooper.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
and he's like a voodoo guy.
Yeah,
so
that was his gimmick for his live performances too.
Yeah. So to set her character, this opens up with a random guy at the airport hitting on her. Perdita Durango is her name.
Okay.
Rosie Perez's name, just to kind of put that out there. Opens up with a random guy at the airport hitting on her. Asks her where she's flying. He says he's flying to Phoenix. And she says, "If you take me with you, I'll keep you hard for 4 days. I'll give out $50 blowjobs and I'll split the profit with you."
Wow.
And he gets all scared and runs away. Yeah, no, she's filthy in this movie. Filthy mouth, everything. Great. So then we meet Bardem's character. So he hits on her and tells her he's a scientist, but to fund his research, he needs donations. Flashback to him robbing a bank in a Lucha El Santo mask.
Awesome.
And much to the dismay of his cohort, he makes the teller show him her boobies before he leaves. He's got to take that extra minute. He's like, "Hey, take your shirt off."
Awesome.
And you'll be a fan of his character because pre-Dennis, he has the Dennis mullet.
Nice.
The official Dennis mullet, but in black.
Okay.
Available to you in many shades. We have black, brown, and blonde. Get yours today. So he says his grandma's a witch. He wears a talisman necklace. He rubs for good luck, and he uses Santeria.
Okay.
And like a voodoo rituals and shit. So he convinces her she must be his high priestess and assist him with his magic rituals, which basically means that they rape, kill, and torture, fuck, do drugs, kidnap people, dismember corpses, eat hearts, and are part of an international fetus smuggling ring.
Sounds like a party.
They smuggle international fetus smugglers.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go big.
The only synopsis I could find online is psychotic criminal couple kidnaps a random teenage couple. The woman rapes the male captive and lets him watch his love being raped by the man. Then they plan to sacrifice the couple.
Wow.
That's a synopsis. Like, that's all it says about this movie on IMDb. Which is weird because that's only like a small portion, but this movie is gloriously insane. It is really goofy as fuck, and it has a lot of dark humor and a lot of fucked up shit.
Nice.
And because I watched the Spanish dubbed version, James Gandolfini with speaking Spanish, that gave me a couple extra points because it was so fucking hilarious to hear this. Like, it sounds like an announcer or a formal person speaking in Spanish for him. And he's James Gandolfini.
Domingo.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a Spanish radio personality. He reminds me of El Rey Liotta because he's an Italian luchador.
Yeah, straight up.
I can't imagine many of our listeners have heard about this movie, so I won't spoil a lot of the stuff because you need to see it. Unfortunately, like I said, it's pretty hard to track down. It's not streaming online, it's hard to get. I did track down an English language version after I watched the Spanish, so you can find it if you look hard enough. I'll be putting it on our Google Drive for you to watch.
I'll check that out.
IMDb gives it a 6.3. I think it's far better than 6.3. Most movies on IMDb are around 6 if they're decent, you know, because of ups and downs and everything. If I would have saw this in 97, I might have liked it even more because I would have never seen anything like it at the time. Even today, it was refreshing, very well acted, very entertaining. It has a throwback 70s exploitation vibe, like a good Tarantino movie.
Mm-hmm.
I put
before that was the cool thing to do, too.
Yeah. I put Rosie Perez on par with 97 Salma Hayek, like from Dusk Till Dawn, in the hotness factor.
Wow.
But she's like the slutty version.
Right.
Like, she doesn't want to suck your blood.
Yeah.
She's interested in sucking other things.
She wants to work out her daddy issues on you.
Yeah. So, I'm going to give it 8.4 Will Hosley's.
Wow.
8.4.
Nice.
Pretty strong.
I'll watch that tonight. I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'll put it on the drive and you see what you think about it. But yeah, like I said, listeners, you might have to track this one down via illegal means because I think that's the only way you're going to get it unless you Amazon used VHS tape for $30 or something. So, all right, what's your good movie?
My good movie was fucking excellent.
All right.
It's a 1985 Russian movie that falls somewhere between war drama, exploitation film, and abstract psychological horror called Come and See, originally titled Kill Hitler.
Kill Hitler.
Yeah, the Russian government, because in 1985 the Russian government funded all of the movies. And it took 8 years for the director to get the permission to make this movie. To make it without any censorship, except for the fact that they didn't want Hitler in the title, so he had to change the title to Come and See, which is from Revelation in the Bible, and this whole movie feels like the fucking apocalypse, so it totally makes sense. On paper, it's a war movie, but it's so much more than that. So this is one of those times where on the show where we're going to kind of move out of the realm of horror, but still look at things that are horrific.
Yeah, you know what? Like we said from the beginning, we're going to deal with everything horror, extreme, or disturbing. Yeah. So if it's not a horror movie, you could say Serbian film's not a horror movie because it doesn't have, it's fucking disturbing.
Right.
No one's going to argue with you about it. So as long as it's disturbing, we'll talk about it.
Right. So. This movie was directed by a guy named Elim Klimov. And like I said, it took him 8 years to get the government's permission to make it, and then he shot it over a period of 6 months in sequence.
Okay.
And this ended up being his last movie he ever made because the experience was so harrowing for him and his cast.
Wow.
He was like, he blew his fucking load on it, and it was a Peter North load. It was a fucking big fucking
giant load dripping.
Yeah, it's all over the place, on the wall, on the carpet, everything. The movie never saw American release because of the Cold War, but it was a huge financial success in Russia and Europe.
Wow. Okay.
So I ultimately had to find it through torrents because it just doesn't exist.
You can't get it. Yeah. You can't even pay for it if you want to.
Right. And even if you did, the Russian government doesn't exist to make the money off of it anymore. So like you're stealing from nobody.
Yeah.
Torrent this one without guilt, guys. Movie takes place during World War II in Russia and centers on a 15-year-old boy who joins the partisan militia to fight the Nazis. After being left behind by the militia and almost bombed to death, the boy returns home to find his family slaughtered and what's left of his village hiding out in a filthy bog. He goes out with a group of men to try and steal food for the survivors, but his friends are killed when they wander into a minefield. And then eventually the boy by himself wanders into another village where the Nazis are. And they're fucking shit up.
Really?
Yeah, really
torturous or what?
Yeah, it's this movie wasn't about the gore, it was about the psychological factor.
Yeah.
There was some gore in it, but they did so much of it with just good camera work and sound effects. Like they rounded all of the inhabitants of the village into a church.
Is it well done, like the effects and stuff like that?
It's
85 has got to be a little rough on it. Right?
No,
Really?
No, it's
high budget, huh?
It wouldn't matter. It was so gritty. It was so gritty that it felt real.
Okay.
And I'll actually get to that because there's some cool legends surrounding this movie. But it's over 2 hours long. It's never boring. It's absolutely unrelenting. It just beats you and beats you and beats you and beats you.
Wow.
And even when there's nothing going on, on screen, it's dust, it's fog, it's blood, it's dirt, it's mud, it's just filth, fire and chaos. And then when nothing is going on, because the main character is losing his mind through this whole process, the soundtrack kicks in. So there's always this sense of looming dread, and the soundtrack is like clanging metal and static and hissing and screaming and barking dogs with opera weaving in and out of it.
Mechanical Ghost style.
Yeah, big time. It's like it sounds like early 1970s industrial music before industrial kind of became techno with distortion.
Yeah.
And there's just this whole looming sense of dread, and it sounds like someone's fucking with the radio the whole movie, but you can't find where it is, and it's making you crazy. And you feel like you're going crazy with this kid.
Yeah.
The lead actor is a 15-year-old boy who has a really expressive face, and he runs the whole gambit of emotions through the movie, and you feel like you're losing your mind with him. And I actually had to stop the movie a couple times and go do something else. Not because my back was bothering me like normal, but because it was just so intense. I was like, okay, I need a break for a second.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, the last time that happened was the first time I saw Aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm 36 now, and I was like 6 then. So
yeah.
It's been a while. I'm pretty jaded. The director drew from his own experience because he actually fought in the partisan militia as a teenager in World War II.
Oh, okay.
And so he basically tried to just recreate his own memories as best as he could. And this movie was a total exercise in catharsis for him. Like, this is him.
There's
working
nothing
out
better
his
than
issues.
someone going to something that they have a lot of experience in. Even if you watch, like, documentaries about a guy who does this thing and makes a documentary about it, it's a good fucking movie because they know so much about it, and it's their real feelings, not just telling a story.
He's there. He knew what war felt like. He knew what war sounded like.
That's why he captured it so well, I think.
It captured so well, and there are some really interesting legends surrounding this movie. Apparently the lead actor, who was a 15-year-old boy, agreed to eat a very limited diet over the course of the 6 months of filming so that he was just on the border of malnutrition by the end of the movie. It visibly aged him and turned his hair gray in real life.
Whoa.
Yeah. He went on to do other movies, but even in interviews, he doesn't really talk about this movie because it was so intense for him. The director fired live rounds over his actors' heads during the gunfire scenes.
Oh my god!
To get them, like, you think Bill Friedkin's crazy?
Yeah,
Bill Friedkin isn't crazy. This motherfucker shot bullets at his actors, and so when they're running through they're running through the woods, ducking and dodging, and trees are exploding all around them.
It's real gunshot.
Yeah, and when there's explosions, they're diving out of real explosions.
Wow. And
apparently, for the scene where the Nazis were fucking up the village that the kid wandered into, he couldn't, because he's a 15-year-old kid, he doesn't have any gauge on it, he couldn't get the emotion right. So the director brought in a hypnotist, convinced the kid that everything was happening was real, and then just sent him out there. And you know when people are super petrified in real life and they just get this like rictus expression on their face?
Yeah, they're just...
That's what the kid looked
like.
Their
eyes go blank. That blank stare. Yeah,
you could see it in his eyes. You could see it in just like the way his mouth was like. It looked like he didn't have lips, so they were pulled back so much. It was just this raw, visceral, primal fear. Yeah. This is hands down one of the most intense movies I've ever seen.
Wow.
And most of it was conveyed with camera work, sound, and really good acting. Like I said, there was some gore, but that's not what this was about. There were a few cultural aspects of the movie that I
have you ever heard of this movie before?
No, a friend of mine posted about it on Facebook that he had just seen it and said that if you think a Serbian film is an intense movie, you need to watch this.
Oh, that's a good recommendation.
It's like comparing apples and oranges in terms of what it is, but
there's no newborn rape or anything, but
but the intensity on it is just through the roof.
It's crazy though that's 1985. Yeah. We are sitting here today in 2016, and I've never heard of this, and I've heard of all these fucking crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that there's not bigger press. You know?
And I've hit up a couple friends who are into these kind of movies, and the only person I knew who had heard of it is someone who has a friend that's from Russia.
Oh, wow.
And lived in Russia when this movie came out. And she was like, oh yeah, that was like the biggest movie in Russia for a while.
Yeah.
But it just, because of the Cold War and because America was like, fuck everything Russian, we just never got it here. So, if you prepare the sound effect, I'm giving this movie 10 out of 10 Will Hosleys. There we go.
So,
my first 10.
After you leave, I'm putting this on.
Okay. Putting it on?
I'm putting it on. Yeah. Get it? Yeah. Putin? See what I did there?
That was good.
All right, so 10 out of 10 Will Hosleys. Ambivalent Will Hosleys.
Ambivalent Will Hosleys. There's nothing fucking ambivalent about this movie.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I was
kind of sweating while I was watching it at some of the parts. There's this scene where he's trying to get through... He's got a girl with him that he saved somewhere, and he's trying to get through the bog to get to the little island in the middle where his people are hiding, and it's just him tearing through neck-deep mud and almost drowning in it. Trying to pull this girl along with him, and then just these scraping metal sound effects for maybe 3-4 minutes.
Fuck.
And you feel like you're drowning with him.
All right, like I said, I'm putting it on.
Yeah, it's good shit.
All right, well, that's the good and the bad and the Putin and the Hosley.
So ambivalent Hosley.
Ambivalent Hosley. We'll be back after this.
Hi.
It's us. We're not a sponsor. We have no sponsor this week, so
we're self-sponsoring.
We're masturbating ourselves all over your ears. We're coming in your ear pussy.
Sponsoring off.
So there's something really important we need to talk about,
and it's puppies.
It's not puppies. Look, we're going to keep this to a minimum.
Okay.
This is a short commercial.
Tangent commercials.
No tangent in the commercial.
Do you know about tangents?
So, we need your help. We need you to rate us, review us, and share this podcast with your friends.
If you listen,
your enemies. Share it with your enemies.
Share it. People you hate. Punish them with our voices.
Make them listen to it. Yeah. And also, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Stitcher. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube.
Like it on YouTube.
SoundCloud.
Follow us on Twitter. We only have like 3 Twitter followers right now.
Because we don't ever have a tweet. What matters most is getting this out into more ear holes. We need your help for that.
Letting people know about it.
So also, if you're our friend or our follower on the Facebook there, make sure you click the notifications, get first, because we're not going to pay for those ads, so you see everything. You gotta work for it.
Yeah, click share.
We give you this shit for free.
And if you want to hear more about Doug Jones, because really that's what this is all about, click that share.
All right, well, this has went on for way too long, and we appreciate you listening to Postmortem. Well, we're back with the top 5 doctors.
You didn't say "and we're back" like that on the last show.
I know, and I noticed that.
Yeah, there's like something was missing.
I know.
Last episode was kind of
the hearts and the soul. And we're back.
That's the Tommy Dreamer of this show.
I think it's probably more annoying than Tommy Dreamer.
I don't know. Did you see Tommy Dreamer in the early 90s?
Actually, I've hung out with him in real life. He was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was really cool.
Was he wearing his neon
He did not have the suspenders. He was in Denver.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so top 5 doctors.
Yeah.
This was a subject that I really liked. I really liked, it was easy. It was easy, just like kids and elderly. It just flowed right off the top of my head. And
I thought it was going to be hard, but then I just sat down and bang, 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 bang. It was done.
It's easy. So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is from a 1965 movie called Monsters Crash the Pajama Party.
Monsters Crash the Pajama
Party. So I saw this movie when I was a little kid, and it was one of those things, because I didn't have the internet when I was a little kid. Nobody had ever heard of it before. And so I would bring it up around people, and they'd be like, "Are you smoking crack?" Because it's basically a horror comedy, but it was done in the time of Spook Show, where horror movies would travel around to theaters and they'd make a production out of it. There'd be people in costumes running.
Running, scaring people and stuff. Dude, that is missing.
Yeah, like
I really wish they'd do that.
John Goodman.
Matinee was good. Yeah,
it was when they were doing things like that. So this movie, Monsters Crash the Pajama Party, is about a mad doctor named the Mad Doctor, played by Vic McGee, who is obsessed with turning teenagers into gorillas.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I need to see this.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD, and I came across it again later in life in the fucking damnedest way. In 2006, I recorded a horrorcore hip hop album under the name Old Scratch and the Necrophonic Orchestra. And my whole gimmick was like Anton LaVey meets Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, with the top hat and shit.
Yeah. And the whole movie, or the whole record, had samples from 1950s horror movies in it. And I went out and I bought DVDs that have like a dozen movies on them each that are all public domain. And I bought this DVD called How to Host a Spook Show, because it had all of these little video snippets of it from the 1950s and 60s of like skeletons dancing and like stupid, spooky cartoons and stuff like that. And this fucking movie was on there.
I know what you're talking about, the dancing skeletons.
Yeah.
We had the Cult Fiction promo.
Yeah, the spooky skeletons.
Yeah.
It was a DVD full of those things, and it taught you how to like make your own spook show and how to do like plexiglass hologram tricks and stuff like that. And this movie was randomly hidden on it as an Easter egg. And I was watching it one night, late at night in my apartment when I lived in Santa Barbara, and I found the Easter egg, and I started watching this movie. I'm like, this is the movie I saw when I was like 8. It exists. It's fucking real.
I'm not crazy.
Vindication. And so, Vic McGee is the mad scientist, the mad doctor who turns teenagers into gorillas.
That's pretty awesome. My number 5, little bondage doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Pretorius from Beyond.
Nice.
The pineal gland in his bondage cellar whipping on ladies.
Dr. BDSM.
Then turning into a giant amorphous mass of flesh and all that shit. Little leeches running around the skies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That movie is so fucking weird.
Yeah, very weird.
It's definitely Lovecraft. You can't say it's not Lovecraft.
Did Brian Usna do that movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The great Brian Usna.
Yeah. Fucking god of cinema.
Yeah. And then, fuck, man. I love the way she looks in that outfit. Barbara Crampton, never looking better.
Yeah, for real. Do you like the way Dr. Pretorius looks in his outfits?
Yes. I mean, no. Maybe.
Awesome.
All right, so my number 5, Dr. Pretorius. Dr. Edward Pretorius.
Edward Pretorius, at your service. Good day.
Good day, sir. I say good day. Number 4.
My number 4 is another Jeffrey Combs part, but not the Jeffrey Combs part. Dr. Richard Vannicut from the House on Haunted Hill remake.
Yeah, he did good. House on Haunted Hill, though, man.
That was from a period of remakes where the remakes still had a little bit of heart to them.
Yeah, it's not... You know what's bad is Return to House on Hill.
Yeah,
the sequel
movie.
to the remake.
Fuck that movie.
The first one was actually pretty good.
It just had some shitty CG. That was the problem. But Jeffrey Rush is the Vincent Price character.
He does very good with Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, I mean, even Chris Kattan is good in that movie, and it's fucking Chris Kattan. But Jeffrey Combs...
Mango.
Everybody loves mango. You should just do that in every movie.
Have you seen the one where Christopher Walken loves mango?
Yeah.
Mango. Sings that song. Anyways, no more tangent.
Fantastic.
Continue.
Jeffrey Combs was good in that movie because he didn't have a single fucking line. And he just managed to use his physical acting to be scary. And I love the idea of the scientist who is obsessed with the occult.
Yeah, he's a flashback guy in that, right? Yeah, he tells a story and it's a black and white.
Yeah, and the newsreels, and then he occasionally crops up as a ghost or in some of the... when the guy's in that spinning room, the overstimulation chamber, and he sort of walks out of the animation.
Yeah.
It was a really cool effect.
Yeah, he did kill it in that. Yeah. That's a good pull.
And I like the idea of the psychologist who's obsessed with the occult and experimenting on the mental patients.
Reminds me of someone I know. His name is not Dom, it's Dominic.
Yeah, that's
it's a different person.
Yeah, it's spelled with a IQUE.
Dominique.
He's French.
All right, my number 4, Dr. Chenard from Hellraiser.
He's my number 2.
Okay, well, we'll wait to talk about him until we get to your number 2.
My number 3 is Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
My number 3 is also Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
But not Silence of the Lambs Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Which one?
The Hannibal TV show Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played
Really?
by Mads Mikkelsen.
I've never even seen the TV show.
It's good. I mean, obviously, it's longer than a movie, so they can get into more detail.
Yeah.
And where Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter was iconic, and it was an iconic boogeyman, Mads Mikkelsen's performance is a lot more nuanced and a lot more subtle, and they have time to go into really what made Hannibal Lecter tick, and not in the way that shitty prequel did.
Yeah, fuck that. The dude, no, I actually like it. It's Hannibal's good. I mean, you've got some branding, but do you know that he didn't blink the entire movie, Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah. I heard about that.
That's why he's my number 3, because he is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
he nails that. That scene where he pulls the face off and starts hitting that guy with the fucking billy club back and forth, and the way his face looks, and he's just doing it.
Yeah. In terms of being like the quintessential psycho boogeyman,
yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins' performance is perfect. Mads Mikkelsen is before anyone knew Hannibal Lecter was a psycho.
Yeah.
And he's manipulating people and convincing the detective that he's got a split personality and is actually committing the crimes.
Yeah.
And he has this whole thing where he's basically like they're dudes and it's a bromance, but he basically loves the detective that's hunting him down because it's posing a challenge to him.
Just like Jodie Foster.
Yeah. But he shows his love by bringing chaos into people's lives.
Yeah.
And is so smooth about it. And so, like, by the time everyone figures out what's going on, everyone's heartbroken because they all loved Hannibal until they figured out that he was a cannibal and a psycho.
The terrifying part about Hannibal Lecter to me is that he's not Leatherface.
Right.
He's not some idiot with a chainsaw running around screaming.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's gloriously insane.
Yeah. And
you know?
he hosts these dinner parties and has the rich upper crust of society come and then serves them the lower crust of society.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
All right. Dr. Hannibal Lecter, also my number 3. So, number 2?
My number 2 is Dr. Chenard.
Okay, Dr. Chenard, yeah.
Another good scientist obsessed with the occult.
Yeah, that fucking Hellraiser 2 is weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird-ass movie.
I think that's actually my favorite in the series.
I love number 1 so much. Mine is actually Bloodline. That's my favorite Hellraiser. Because I've seen it more than the rest. I had when I was, that's like my glory days of horror.
It was the first Hellraiser that I was able to see in the theater.
Oh, cool, yeah. I've never seen any of them in the theater.
Really?
Yeah. So Bloodline came out like 96. I was like 11. So
yeah,
and then there were DVD after that. So
yeah, it was the last one to hit the theaters. I was able to see it.
Yeah.
Hellraiser 3 was actually the first Hellraiser I ever saw.
Hellraiser 3 I got when I was like, so I did see that. That was probably the first one I saw. I got an unrated VHS copy of it from the Mexican movie store in Lompoc.
Nice.
They just sold it to me. They didn't care. Yeah, they just let me take it. I started watching it at home. My mom's like, "What the fuck?" They gave because it's brutal. I love Hellraiser 3. The spinning thing and the club owner, and that's a good one.
The seedy head guy.
Yeah, seedy.
Dr. Chenard was he was a great character. He was sinister the whole time, and then by the time he completely lost his shit and became the Chenard Cenobite floating around on his head, and that's such an iconic image too.
It is
being pulled around by the tentacle.
Yeah. I fucking love the effects. Those effects, there is no excuse for bad effects in a movie. You watch Hellraiser 2, when was that? 1980 something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these movies these days with the shitty CGI, that was not like that.
Yeah.
You can forgive Hellraiser 1, you can forgive the electrical. I wish they didn't put the little fucking electricity.
Yeah.
That's only bad effect-wise, but everything else is amazing.
Yeah.
Frank and everything.
And those movies were made on the same budget the movies today are getting made.
Yeah.
So
they could do it.
Why, motherfuckers?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, if you can have an awesome Dr. Chenard being pulled around by his head on a tentacle, why do you have to have a CG dog?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, my number 2, Dr. Heiter from the Human Centipede.
Nice. He's on my honorable mentions.
I love him. He's that actor. He was perfect for that role.
He's so nuts.
He's so fucking gloriously insane. And then the other, when he's the warden too.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I think he's even more insane.
He is, and the whole movie is insane. And a lot of people don't like number 3. I love it.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
But number 1, Human Centipede. When it first came out, it had arrived. when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't just come out; it arrived.
Yeah,
You know,
it arrived and shat down your throat.
it's a pop culture reference nowadays, and it's, you know, he is fucking.
Got a South Park episode about it. I mean,
yeah.
That's when you know you've made it.
It's when you know you've made it. When
Weird Al
South
has to
Park's
write a
great.
song about it now.
Yeah, the fucking eat. Eat. The way he does that, the eat. He's so happy.
Intense
He's
the
so
whole time.
happy.
Yeah.
He's so insane and so smart, because he has to be smart to do all this
Right.
stuff. But he's so happy at that point when he's finally created his masterpiece.
Yeah.
And he's got the food bowl like a dog bowl. Eat.
Coming in his pants while he's saying it.
I love it.
Science!
All right, what's your number one?
My number one, maybe a little controversial, but it's Orange Crivello, DDS, played by Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh my god.
The sadistic dentist who tortures his patients, and then he has his run-in with the masochist patient, Bill Murray, who wants to get hurt.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, there's some people who would say Little Shop of Horrors, even though it says horrors in the title, isn't actually a horror movie because it's like a musical. But there's bodily dismemberment, there's alien plants that eat people, there's blood, there's sadistic
You could say it's like a
characters.
horror musical comedy or something, but I've never been a fan of it.
Really?
I never liked it, yeah. I love The Jerk.
Yeah.
All I need is this lamp and my dog. I was born a poor black child.
That's a great movie. I don't like musicals. I was a theater kid in high school, and when they did musicals, I would sit them out. I wouldn't even do tech because fuck musicals. But Little Shop of Horrors is my one of two or three exceptions to that.
Yeah, I like Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah.
I like Tommy. I like The Wall.
Yeah,
that's
rock
about
operas
it.
are good.
Yeah.
But Steve Martin played that character so well, and he was just so gloriously sadistic and so happy about everything that he did. He'd put on the laughing gas and get all fucking high and then torture his patients. And even though it was done for laughs, it was still kind of dark.
I will forgive it. I'll let it slide, because my number one
is my number zero.
Is the number one.
Yeah.
Dr. Herbert West.
Absolutely.
So as of this here show today, it brings me much dismay and sadness to tell you that I will be retiring Reanimator and Herbert West from the list.
Of anything?
Because unless we do top 5 Reanimators,
okay,
I can't talk about the same character over and over. I'll find a way to get him in the list.
Yeah.
I'll find a way. So he's like your Dennis.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to make a pact with you.
Okay.
No more Dennis on the list.
Okay.
And I'll give you no more Herbert West.
Okay.
The greatest cinematic character of all time.
It's gotta be Herbert West.
He is the be-all, end-all of doctors of horror.
Yeah, fuck Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes.
Fuck any other doctor. It's Herbert West.
And I love all three.
Yeah.
Number 2, I would rank them 1, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 is good. It's like kind of like Hellraiser went with number 2. It's just a bunch of random craziness compared to number 1 is a great story. Number 3 I really like. For it coming out so much further out than the rest, I thought it was going to disappoint me. I thought it was going to be low budget or it was going to be poorly executed or just a cash grab, and it was good.
Yeah, that was a good time for Brian Yuzna. He was doing a lot of good movies in Spain. He made that one in Spain.
Yeah. Dagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got a severed penis fighting a fucking rat.
Yeah.
In a boxing match. Not just fighting.
Yeah, straight up.
Shadow boxing.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
And Herbert West, his evolution from medical student to crazy prison doctor.
Yep.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's my favorite character.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else. I can't say much more about him because it's already been said.
Yeah.
This is episode 15.
Yeah.
I challenge you to re-listen to all the episodes and count the mentions. I guarantee there's
Take a
one
shot every time.
One per episode. That's the postmortem drinking game.
Yeah.
Dennis or Doug Jones or Herbert West, the holy trinity of postmortem, are mentioned. You take a shot.
You ever see the movie Repenetrator? It was the porn version of Reanimator.
Yeah.
Dr. Pervert Breast.
I had to see it. It's a porn spoof of my favorite movie. How could I not see that?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Once upon a time, there was a boy, a girl, a blowjob, and 20 buckets of blood.
All right, honorable mentions.
Yeah. Dr. Satan, House of a Thousand Corpses.
I have him too, but I have him down as Dr. S. Quentin Quayle, a.k.a. Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan!
Dr. Satan is awesome.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Yeah, really, and you only see a little bit of him. And apparently, I've never seen it, but apparently he's in the background in the beginning of Devil's Rejects.
Really?
Yeah, they're carting him out of the house.
Oh, I didn't see that, yeah.
I've always kind of felt like House of a Thousand Corpses was the campfire tale of the Firefly family, and Devil's Rejects was the reality of
The
it.
gritty, yeah. I can't tell you which one I like more. I guess I like... At first, I liked Devil's Rejects more, but I think I like House of a Thousand Corpses more because of the ridiculousness and because of the tour ride with the Albert Fish and everything like that. You know, it's a great movie.
A lot of people shit on it, but I like it for the reasons that people shit on it.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
It's all about the vibe.
Campy, can't wait for 31.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Dr. Satan.
I have Dr. Caligari from the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yep,
I don't know what the fuck he's a doctor of, but
Doctor
he's creepy.
Being crazy.
Yeah. Dr. Samuel Loomis from Halloween.
Yep.
This is one that I think you and I disagree on. Dr. Rendell from Dr. Giggles. You don't like Dr. Giggles,
Dr. Giggles
right?
is my first honorable mention.
Really?
Yeah.
For some reason, I got the impression that you didn't like Dr. Giggles.
It's not a great movie by any stretch, but it's a part of my childhood.
Yeah, I think it was...
I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was under 12.
Yeah.
I don't know how old I was, but I haven't seen it since back in the day.
Yeah.
So
I think it was that. I got that and Evil Dead, and those were the first two horror movies that I ever watched by myself. Like, my parents went away, and I walked to the video store and rented those two movies.
Yeah.
And, so
we talked about it, too, on a previous show that he passed away.
Yeah, very recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Hyder from The Human Centipede. Dr. Seth Brundle from The Fly.
Yep, also on my honorable mentions.
Mr. Dr. Professor Skullhead Face from Guar's Skullhead Face film.
I've never seen that.
He's
Guar had a movie?
They made, for their first 5 albums, they made movies to go with every single album.
Like a real movie or like a little music video?
No, like a full feature.
I've never seen any of them.
Phallus in Wonderland was their first one. And then Skullhead Face was their second one. Skullhead Face is this weird skull face giant brain puppet with human hands. It has an asshole in the middle of its forehead. And he's trying to become the perfect man, so he kidnaps Guar and steals their gizmoglobin. And by becoming the perfect man, he actually turns into a woman. It's pretty insane. He has this little assistant named Flopsy who has a vagina for a mouth. And Beefcake, the guy in the big Trojan helmet, their Guar's bassist, falls in love with Flopsy and has to fuck Flopsy's face to death and is crying the whole time. It's a great movie. It's a great little...
I gotta look into those. I've never seen any of them.
And perhaps the second most important doctor in all of cinematic history, Dr. Mambo.
God damn it, I had that as my very last honorable mention. I was going to come in with, he is a doctor, he's a dog, but
Doctor being
he's a doctor.
Dog.
Yeah. Well, is that your last one?
That's my last one.
So I had every one of your honorable mentions or your list was, besides the weird slumber party thing, was and the fucking Steve Martin was on my honorable mention. So I had Dr. Giggles, Dr. Sin, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, of course.
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
Dr. Fives. Vincent Price.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Fives. Yeah. Dr. Seth Brundle. Dr. Caligari. Dr. Van Helsing from Modern Vampires.
Yeah, he was a doctor.
Dr. Mary Mason from American Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked American Mary. Yeah,
that was
very well
she was like the plastic surgeon doctor, right?
Yeah. And then I have two that aren't horror, but they're really good doctors. Dr. Zell from Marathon Man.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, pretty creepy. And then would have been in my top 5 if it were a horror movie, Dr. Strangelove. Yeah. I love Dr. Strangelove. I love Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah. I don't even know what you would call Dr. Strangelove.
He plays Peter Sellers plays 3 different characters in that movie.
Yeah,
and he nails it.
Every single, and you can't even tell.
Do you know that Dr. Strangelove, when he first started making it, Kubrick, formalist, Kubrick, Kubrick was making it, and it was supposed to be a serious movie, like a drama, like a war drama. And he started making it, and he was like, "No, it's going to be a comedy now."
Yeah.
As they're making it.
Yeah,
and warped it all.
Yeah, and it's warped is the right word to use too. That's
it holds up.
I never let them take my fluids.
It holds up.
Yeah, it does.
You watch it today if you've never seen it. It's great.
Yeah, I've got the Criterion edition of it where they did the full remaster on it.
Yeah,
it looks good, and it's a great movie.
Yeah. So, and then my final honorable mention, you son of a bitch, is Dr. Mambo.
Dr. Vegan Dog.
So that's our top 5 doctors here at Postmortem. We hope you have enjoyed it. In the future, send us your top 5 list. Whatever it is. Doctors, decapitations, kids, elderly.
I actually had an idea for the listeners. When we do our top 5 whatevers, go to the Facebook, thing, or
email them. Email them in.
Or the
It's
blog.
best way.
Comment there or share the episode with your top 5.
I think that the cleanest way to do it, so that if we could read it, if we're going to read it on the episode, would be if you email postmortemshow@gmail.com with your top 5. If we post what we're going to do in advance, which I
was thinking, like, if they like top 5 doctors, they put their top 5 doctors. They share our posts.
Yeah, that's
put
cool
their
too.
Top 5
Anything
doctors.
that gets them to share.
Yeah.
So we don't know what our top 5 is next week. We might have an interview. We might not. I did receive word from our guest. I had to pull out today. He had a emergency, so
emergency pull out. I know all about that.
At the last minute, you got to do it sometimes. So we might have an interview, but we don't know what our top 5 is. But we're going to be posting it on the Facebook. So in advance, we're going to tell you what it is. You can give us your top 5. Or if we haven't decided yet and you want to suggest a list, go ahead and email it to postmortemshow@gmail.com. We will credit you. We will read your list.
Yeah, and hell, if you submitted one before, submit another one.
Yeah. We want to hear from you guys again.
Yeah.
Antoine?
Yeah,
Casey?
Antoine, keep emailing us.
Yeah. Jeremy? I've had a few.
Jeremy recommended, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but he sent me a message over Facebook recommending this YouTube animation channel with all this really fucked up stuff on it. And a lot of it was stuff from Newgrounds from like the early 2000s when Flash animation was just starting to be a thing. But there's some other really good stuff on there. Like Jeremy's kind of sick. I like it.
Yeah. We're a fan of you. So, and we hope you're a fan of us. So, tune in next Wednesday for another episode of Postmortem. But until then,
as H.P. Lovecraft always said to his mother,
to his own mom,
if it smells like fish,
throw the fucker back.
And then go see a doctor.
We need to lance that and remove it right away.
It's my face.
Take 2 and call me in the morning.